indeed. And Dade, man, he was amazing in the finals. Absolutely stunning. I mean, the whole team was, but Dade especially. Guys, it's time. Picks and bans. Game number 1 of not just MVP Ozone versus Xenics Blast, but of the entirety of Champion Summer. Here we go.
And there we are. Ari respect ban against Many Reason. Immediately Twisted Fate and Jace, of course, going down here in our first game. It wouldn't be Champions without a TF ban.
Yep, it's tradition.
And they're also trying to pull that Kennen away from Stark. So Stark played Jace and Kennen in the qualifiers, so we will see him on a new champion this time around.
Indeed, and there's a Jarvan ban as well. I mean, it's just a good kind of general ban right now against a lot of junglers. Very, very popular, very high priority pick. And MVP Ozone doesn't want to deal with him. And there's the elites, yeah.
The Zac ban as well against Hong. He was quite scary, of course, getting that first blood on Flame in the finals. So MVP Ozone has a lot to prove right here. They've proven that with a week or two in between matches that they can really out-research and out-strategize their opponents and kind of win before the games even start a lot of the time. But they haven't had impressive group stages in the past.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how it all comes together, but that is something to kind of consider with it. Possible Nasus pickup after the Shen and Fiddlesticks for Xenics Blast, taking that Fiddlesticks away from Mata, but also quite possibly a champion that we're going to see a lot of support start to pick up soon.
The Fiddlesticks Caitlyn lane is absolutely ridiculous if you want to fast push right now. It's really...
No way.
I am in full support of Fiddlesticks spear nerfs at this point in time.
Oh, really?
And the Zed may make it through for Dade.
Yeah, it's possible. And Nivea, that'd be an interesting pickup. They've got to pick. I would imagine Thresh Zed is going to be the final pickup for this.
Well, they're still talking about it. Still having a little chat.
Yep. I learned the Korean word for chatting today, but I already forgot it.
And Yorick!
Oh, wow.
So it looks like we actually are probably going to see a Vayne.
Interesting, yeah.
Now, we have seen Yorick this season in the NALCS already.
Yep.
CLG ran it early on, but this is a champion that many people don't expect to see, but if they really want him to carry a game, then of course making Vayne clones is an extremely good way to do that. Now Bang, always really known for his Ezreal play back in Champions Winter, but picking up a lot of Graves recently.
Yeah.
But if you pick Fiddlesticks, and we may see a Draven pick here.
Interesting. What do you think about that?
If you want to bully a lane and push very quickly, Draven and Fiddle is extremely scary, but they're going to probably take away the Vayne because I think
that's smart, yeah.
I think that they have to take Vayne at this point.
Graves is also a popular pick right now for Bang, but are they actually going to do this? They're locking in Draven. Wow. A bold move.
All right, well, they're not going to take away that Vayne, and instead they may let Imp have it.
Yeah.
Although,
I was going to say.
This may... I'm trying to figure this out. So it looks like it will be a jungle Elise. Dandy, of course, an extremely good jungle Elise player, as he showed us in Game 1 of the finals.
So you thinking top Yorick then?
Yeah, top Yorick is standard play for Yorick.
Yep.
He's one of those champions that can 2v1 or 1v2 rather very well. And they have to be very careful about. They're thinking about this because if they end up in a 2v2 situation with Fiddle Draven, with Thresh Vayne, they may be in a little trouble for early all-ins.
Yeah. And of course, Dade and Ohm famously, no way, Malzahar. Interesting.
That would be quite crazy. And we are
it is crazy. Here we go, guys. This is Champions. This is what happens in this tournament every season. Starting off with a bang, no doubt about it.
And a boink.
A bang and a boink. And a blast. Already having a blast.
All right, well.
Wow.
So I think
I'm so excited, man.
The idea here is that I think they want to use this Malzahar combined with the Sejuani and the Shen to really lock a bunch of people up in team fights.
Yeah.
They also have the Fear, so they've got a lot of long CC and suppresses.
They really do, actually.
And that's actually, this is a very good comp, I think, because that's going to allow time. Draven's problem in team fights is that he has to catch his axes and he has predictable movement. So this will give Draven time to catch axes and maximize his damage output.
I was going to say, we haven't seen a lot of, good Draven possibilities in Korea, but this could work. So in the top lane, we've got Ohm playing Yorick up against Stark playing Shen. The king in the top. We'll see if he has a good homecoming. I know. In the jungle, Dandy playing Elise. That's a terrifying thought. and his opponent as well. In the mid lane, Dade playing Rise up against Many Reason playing Malzahar.
And this is also a good, Malzahar is a great all-in champion if you can manage to pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Down at AD carry, Imp on his fan favorite Vayne pick, and Bang playing Draven. I believe our first Draven of the proper seasons of Champions. We've seen him a couple times outside of it, but in Champions proper, I don't know if we have ever seen Draven. Maybe once.
Well, this is, no.
I don't think so. Yeah, you're right. All right.
But basically, we know that Xenics Storm really likes Draven, so this is a sister team thing that we're seeing right now between the Xenics squads.
Works for me. Well, here we go, guys. Game number 1 of Champions Summer, Ozone versus Blast. Let's get in the game. And of course, that was a world premiere of my Champions back tattoo that I just got. Hopefully you guys like it. Let me know what you think on Twitter.
Nothing says hot like man back tattoos.
My back, it's my real back.
So sexy.
Yeah. Nobody knew. Well, now they do. Well, here we go, guys.
Dandy is starting with a health crystal on Jungle Elise, so that is really quite strange.
That is a bit odd, isn't it?
I wonder what he's going to do with this. This may be some sort of indication that he's going to fast work the lane.
I was going to say, this seems like the thing where you team up with Yorick, maybe in top lane, you think?
Yorick is a bit of a lane bully early.
Yeah.
His ghouls quite strong, and he's got that CDR already going, so he's going to be spamming spells.
Looks like they may be planning a lane swap, too, sending home down to the bot lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly how this works out right now.
Okay. Oh, that was a sign. Fans of the Korean casters. I was like, that was a sign. I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you, Captain Obvious Doa. And of course, I mean, we know Dade and Home famously announcing that they're switching positions, but then playing the same champions in the same positions.
Right. That happens.
Right.
It's really common in League of Legends, actually.
That's right. It's becoming a trend. And so, of course, again, at the bottom of your screen, if you have a Korean cell phone, you can text who you think is going to be the MVP of the match, basically, is how you pick that. So if you're not in Korea, you don't necessarily need to worry about that too much.
All right, so we're in this game right now. Now, Malzahar able to push very quickly. So he may be trying to shove this lane in early. I mean, this is a very, very, very aggressive duo lane and mid lane coming out of Xenics Blast this game.
Oh, yeah. I love that Draven skin, too. That's actually really cool.
That's a new one, the Gladiator Draven skin.
Yeah, looks like Khal Drogo skin.
Well, they've got the king in the top.
That's right. Could have some conflict there, but not so far.
So this is really curious. My main question is, what is Dandy's plan here with this health crystal?
Yeah.
It should become clear relatively soon. Of course, Dandy known mostly for his counter ganking rather than his active ganking.
Exactly.
He's almost got like a sixth sense for the other jungler. I think he studies other junglers' routes very, very well before he plays against them, because he's almost always in the right place at the right time to turn ganks around. It's pretty amazing.
Well, that would make a lot of sense too, because I mean, if you're the type of jungler that doesn't really stay in the jungle all that much, then really is a machete necessary, you know? So it's interesting.
All right, he's already coming in, and as we suspected, maybe going for this fast push right here, trying to get the kill on the king in the top.
Well, Shen can be bullied a little bit in that 2v1, so Stark's going to need to watch out, man. If he's not careful, he may lose his head here. You don't want that.
You can't have that.
Oh, he comes in with the taunt. Oh, the cocoon misses. Oh, they're still going on to Stark, though. Can he get away? He does flash. So a lot of damage being done. They do draw out the flash. No summoners used on the MVP Ozone side. Stark a little bit more vulnerable now.
Yeah.
He did go south, and we know what happens to Starks that go south.
Yeah, interesting that Ulm decided not to use his Ignite right there. So they actually were premeditating that flash was going to be used, and they're saving it so that they can come back later and finish that kill and get the turret.
Yeah.
So this mid lane battle, surprisingly, many reasons, Malzahar is actually down on CS by just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not something you typically expect. It's very easy to farm with Malzahar generally, and also very hard to stop yourself from pushing.
Dade actually looks like he's pretty deep in the utility tree. Actually had that total biscuit of regeneration there too.
Yeah, that's usually you get that on Rise because it utility really does a lot for you in terms of cooldown reduction as well as mana. So it allows you to kind of maximize your DPS because on Rise you're really going to be looking to put out consistent damage over time rather than going for that big burst.
Indeed. Well, I'm coming back down to the bottom lane to go up against Stark. He's going to come in and put a little bit of pressure on him. It is very annoying to lane against York and have to deal with the ghouls all the time.
Yeah, it's extremely irritating.
Yeah. That's one of those champions that they have this like psychological edge, you know, where they can just produce things that continue to irritate you while you lane against them. Even if you're like doing well, it's still kind of annoying.
So now we have Dandy going back and getting that early Kindle gem. So this is very curious. Yeah. He may just be trying to, they may be trying to hit a timing with his composition where he gets a big item and then they have an advantage for a dragon play. It's really difficult to tell what their strategy is right now.
Oh, Mata's in trouble. There's the theory. He's going to try to play away, but he brings quality right in. Mata trying to get away. He's exhausted. Impasse uses cleanse, tumbling out. Very low on health. He'll make it. Descendants onto Bang, but not really able to capitalize on it. Takes a turret hit, but that's about it. So a gank attempt for Xenics Blast, but Imp a little bit too slippery.
Yeah, they did burn a lot of summoners. All 4 summoners gone in the dual lane for MVP Ozone, so they're not even going to be able to really contest this right now.
There's going to be a lot of damage onto their turret. Here comes Dandy right now.
The thing about Sejuani is that Sejuani is not particularly a good champion.
Oh, he missed the cocoon again. That's 2 in a row for Dandy.
Bang had a nice juke on that one.
He did.
But Sejuani is not the best champion for really fast pushing because she has to get in melee range in order to use AoE to wave clear, and that can be quite dangerous. You know, it's not the same thing as a Nasus where if you really want to push something down fast, you're going to be able to do it safely.
It's more similar to like why am I blanking on this? The anchor guy.
Oh, Nautilus.
No, Nautilus. Yeah,
exactly.
I wanted to say Nocturne really bad for some reason. I'm like, no, it starts with an M, but it's not that.
Yeah, Nautilus is very similar to the way that Sejuani plays, and the fact that you've got really good offensive ganks.
Oh, there he comes. Oh, flashing out of the way of the cocoon. Many reasons dodging that one. So close on so many fronts. I mean, I gotta say, man, Xenics Blast is playing really well so far. They've handled everything Ozone's thrown at them. They've thrown some things at Ozone as well. We've got a very close game so far.
And you have to give credit to Many Reason as well, because Malzahar is very vulnerable in the mid lane. He doesn't have any escapes. His flash is down now.
Yeah.
But they did push back Dade for the moment.
Yeah.
So. The last time we saw Dade play Rise, I believe, was in against SK Telecom, where he got like 17 kills in a game. So this is one of Dade's better champions, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to hand that blue buff right over to Many Reason. There it goes. And Dandy with that Kindle gem, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what he buys next. My vote is on Fast Shirelia's Super Speed Spider. Yeah, let's do that.
I'm very curious to see what this ends up turning into. For sure.
It's definitely something we haven't really seen before. Okay, now picking up the boots and the machete anyway.
Yeah, he may be. Yeah, I'm not really sure about the logic behind this. It'd be interesting to see some numbers. So we do have a double tier team for MVP Ozone, so they're going to take some time to ramp up here.
When the damage gets going, though, it's going to go in a big, big way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, well.
Bang and Boink heading down to the bot lane now.
Yeah, they tried to get that. They tried to get those kills up at the top lane. They didn't quite manage to pull it off. And we're actually here at an 8-minute game with no towers and no kills, which is quite unusual.
Yeah,
we've had some good ganks, but also
weird for Korea.
Yeah, very weird.
I like it. It's interesting.
But this is really kind of playing into MVP Ozone's strength right here, because the longer they can survive in the laning phase and get farmed up, the less and less this Draven is going to matter.
There's going to become a point where I feel like Blast is going to get a little bit desperate to make something happen, and that's when they're either going to be able to be, you know, successful in making that happen, or make some mistakes that's going to give Ozone a bit of an edge. So it's kind of up to Blast to really kind of win or lose this early game, it seems like.
And this is a really good move by Blast right here. So one of the things, this is why they rotated into bottom lane.
Oh, yeah.
Is because Draven is one of the best champions to give you dragon control early on, because he's such a bully early on in the game that it's very dangerous to attempt to take a dragon when Draven is there against an enemy team. So they're going to go ahead and grab that very early. And this is very smart play and shows that Xenics Blast really has a good knowledge of how to maximize Draven's power spikes and potential in the early game.
Yeah, very cool. A lot of people have been wondering for a long time, you know, why we haven't seen much Draven. Never mind. There we go. Many Reason getting locked down now. Can he get out? Ignite down as well. Doesn't look like it. First blood goes to Dandy, but a return kill quickly. Many Reason getting down. Dade escaping. Dandy, or Dade not escaping, rather. Dandy escaping. And there goes the Bang ultimate.
That's right. So first turret does go down. They traded that dragon for the turret up in top lane. And look at that, Imp and Mana just sticking around right now.
Yep. Oh, they may recall soon. It looks like we do have Mana going back, but...
So MVP Ozone has a very scary team fight because they've got two very late game carries in Rise and Vayne. Of course, you're going to be doubling that Vayne with the Yorick ultimate as well. So Xenics Blast, they have to be super careful about how they engage. They have to catch people out of position with all of their CC because they've got an immense amount of CC on this team. So they could do a lot if they can actually just get somebody slightly out of the way. So if MVP Ozone breaks formation, somebody isn't kind of with the rest of the team precisely, there's going to be a lot of CC on that person, and then the single target damage coming out of Draven is going to be enormous.
Yeah. Well,
but a lot of this depends on Bang having a very good game, and Imp has been able to farm up pretty nicely. He's only 10 CS behind despite being against a Draven fiddle lane, which is pretty brutal.
Well, that's Imp, man. I mean, he's got some of the best mechanics in Korea right now, and it shows. Well, here comes quality.
And they do have a pink ward there. They know that the flash is up again for many reasons, so they didn't take advantage of that.
Yeah, oh, a little bit of a fight. Dandy getting caught in the jungle here. Dade coming in to try to go into many reasons. Can they get him? Quality does take out Dandy, and now Dade trying to chase out many reasons, but he's going to have to give up, go home.
And there we go, Dandy.
Yeah, just getting a little bit caught there.
So, but that's the danger of this Malzahar Sejuani combination, is the single target lockdown that they have is really extreme. So, and you can't break that Malzahar suppression until you get QSS.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, I mean, both of those really hard CCs have relatively low cooldowns too. Death Sentence on the Bang. Can they make something happen? Tries to flame in the box, doesn't work. There's the exhaust anyway. Bang very low. Imp flashing ahead to get that kill. And they may be able to keep going from there. Boink trying to flash away. Can they catch him? Nice play from Mata. And that's going to be a double kill for Imp. Really well done in the meantime. Some action in the top lane. Stark duking it out a bit with Home. But that fight's not going to go anywhere. Great play from Imp and Mata. That's what makes him so dangerous. And that bot lane duo, Home having used his flash. Will he get away? Yep, looks like he'll make it for now. But one summoner burnt.
All right, so the Kindle Gem on Dandy ended up turning into the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, which a bit interesting that he didn't start with Machete in that case. I wonder if their plan got foiled in some way.
I would imagine.
And there we go. Dandy managing to snag that blue buff away. That will really stall out Malzahar's ability to push lane. And Imp and Mata may be getting bottom turret as well.
I think they will. Yeah, I think they will. There it is, sticking around for just a moment. And there's a bot lane turret, a 2-0 turret lead right now for MVP Ozone. Starting to kind of get a little bit of an edge here in this game. And Blast, they're going to start to feel that pressure that you were talking about earlier, Monty Chris, so they need to make something happen here.
Right, this long laning phase is really benefiting Ozone, and the fact that they managed to get the first two turrets as well is great for them. Many Reason trying to push out right now. They need to kind of average out this turret count a little bit. Dade pushing aggressively in the mid lane as we speak. They are going to grab that one.
Yeah. Will they lose this mid turret pretty soon, though? Not a lot of defense there. Quality coming down, but that turret's going to drop fast. Elise, such a good tower pusher. She gets right onto it with those spiderlings.
That's right, doing a lot of extra damage to towers.
Yeah. Oh, they have to be careful there. Dandy doesn't want to get caught in the same spot twice.
Yeah, So I think this is very smart by Xenics Blast right now. They're starting to group with champions that can push very quickly, like Malzahar, like Draven, and then just chunk down turrets as fast as they can. And they're abusing also the shorter range on some of these champions like Ryze and Vayne, who can't really adequately defend against this because the only real wave clear that they have right now is Yorick to a small degree, and also the Ryze ultimate. So they will have some problems with any kind of concentrated fast push. So the change in strategy by Xenics Blast is perfect for this time of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, the laning phase went pretty well for them. The CS is nearly dead even across the board, which is so impressive against a team like MVP Ozone. So Blast, I mean, win or lose this game, they're looking strong early on.
That's right, and they're going to set up for a Dragon soon. Dragon will be back up in a little less than a minute, I believe. So this is going to be another Dragon for Blast to take, really, because you're still looking at a ramp-up time for MVP Ozone. They've got another probably 8 to 10 minutes before they really get rolling.
Well, we'll see if they can get this mid turret down. I mean, they want to keep this push. If they can get that mid turret out of commission or push out lane, that's going to set up that Dragon, but they just have not been able to do it yet. I mean, Ozone knows exactly what they're trying to do, you know? Yeah, there's no real mystery here.
Okay, well, looks like Xenics Blast doesn't want it. They just want to fast push turrets, I guess. They're going to let Ozone have this in return for some turret damage.
Can they actually get back in time? No, I think Ozone can get back in time.
Wow.
Yeah, the lane didn't push fast enough. A little bit of a miscalculation there by Blast.
I'm really surprised they didn't contest that at all. So MVP Ozone gets a free Dragon and no turret taken by Xenics Blast in response at all.
Just one of those, and it was such a small error too that had a rather big impact. I mean, they just slightly misjudged how fast they could push that lane, and that really cost them.
They did get top turret, but I feel as though they could have actually just fought that and then had Shen teleport in and then taken mid turret after dealing some damage.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, Home would have been out of position. It would have been a 5v4 with a very low health turret, so wouldn't have been a terrible idea. Hindsight is 2020.
That's okay. They're doing fine. I mean, the gold lead is really insignificant at this stage after they did take that top lane turret, so.
Yeah, still a very even game.
Well.
And now we have Ozone putting a little bit of pressure onto that mid lane. See if they can capitalize on it.
It's going to be really hard to push.
Yeah, Home coming down with this too, actually. But you're right. I mean, the thing is that quality on Sejuani has such a big threat. If you group up for just a moment, that ultimate is absolutely going to lock you down, and that sets up a lot of really bad things for MVP Ozone.
Absolutely. I mean, the follow-up that Xenics Blast has is pretty darn good, and if they can chain their CC properly and have good target calling and target focusing, their comp is pretty scary.
Right. I mean, the thing is that one good Sejuani ult on the team sets up a great lockdown for many reasons. I mean, then the damage comes in, and they're going to go after Imp, you know, immediately with that too. And Vayne is not exactly the type of champion, the type of carry that can survive a lot of punishment like that.
Right. The issue is that Glacial Prison, Sejuani's ult, it's the only really solid initiator that Xenics Blast has, because you have to assume that the Shen is going to be split pushing, and they don't have a good Shen ult target besides either closing the gap with Sejuani after ulting or with Crowstorm.
I would imagine Crowstorm is going to be the more appealing target there. It's going to be more kind of directly in your face as far as the team goes. I figure you'd have better taunt options to the back line from that, but it all depends too then on Boink getting in that good position to hop over the wall with it, you know?
Right. So much of how these team fights play out is going to be based on positioning when the team fight begins. Because it really does all come down to Xenics Blast's initiation and how many people they can hit with their stuns and suppresses and silences and fears.
Oh, that was so close, man. If they would have caught Boink there, that would have been blissful.
Yeah, I mean, really, anybody who gets caught out with these compositions is going to be dead, because you can follow up that death sentence straight into a rune prison as well.
Yeah, I mean,
or a cocoon.
Cocoon, right?
So MVP Ozone's
CC on both sides, actually.
Yeah, MVP Ozone, they want to really initiate with the death sentence and take it down to a 5v4 nearly instantly because of the single target damage that they have, and they can do that very effectively and very quickly. Whereas Xenics Blast, they want to find that grouped up target where you can initiate with the Sejuani ult, follow it up with taunt.
Yeah. It's all about the combos, man. That's right. League of Legends is just one big 5-player fighting game, man. Gotta get the biggest combo you can.
So when you play support Fiddlesticks, I said this before, but it plays a lot like Blitzcrank actually, which sounds very strange, but you really need excellent vision control with him because...
No, you're exactly right, yeah.
You have to be able to, your initiation is...
Oh, the flash, he's gonna get Bang in there. There's the box that catch quality as well into it. Crowstorm coming in for the counter engage. Home very, very low. Everyone's gonna try to flash away in picking up a kill, but so far Blast looking okay in this fight. It's all about Imp's positioning now. Coming in from behind, he's gonna be able to poke down Stark as well. A great Rune Prism onto Many Reason, but he does have the Zonias already. Many Reasons so low, Imp backing away. Such low health actually from the MVP side. Imp needs to get out of the fight. Mata really low as well. Stark might be able to claim that one. Dade trying to save him. Oh, he maybe will get the kill. Not quite. Oh, he does get it. Never mind. And it ends up being a 2 for 3 in favor of Ozone, but just barely. Man, what a close team fight.
And again, it all comes down to that initiation. The death sentence hitting was absolutely perfect for MVP Ozone. And the fact is they came out of that fight with their 2 carries up, and that allowed them to follow up with the turrets. So they've got the outer ring now down. They've got the map advantage. So absolutely perfect there for MVP Ozone. It's going to be a messy fight. The thing about these compositions is that there are going to be a lot of people dying in team fight. Look at the flash right there, pulling in Bang.
Yeah.
And the good Glacial Prison, but it didn't catch Imp in the back. Now watch Imp coming in here. He gets the exhaust, cleanses, and then he starts backing off. His mechanics absolutely perfect right now. Oh, we're not going to see it, but the thing that was really impressive in that fight was his life stealing to stay alive during Malefic Visions from Malzahar. It was ticking him down, and he was really focusing on just kiting the minion wave so that he wouldn't die at the end, and that allowed them later to follow up with a nice turret kill.
Well, that's really what makes him, you know, I would say pretty undisputedly at this point the best Vayne in the world. I don't think anyone's going to really argue with that.
It's hard to argue with that claim, and Bang actually starting with a Black Cleaver Draven. This is a little weird.
All right. He's still got a little bit of the Cleaver fever.
I guess so, especially since there's no follow-up attack damage really on his team.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, he's like, well, I can only buy axes because it's Draven.
Right. He's theming his build.
I was going to say, I appreciate the thematic elements of his build in this game.
I also want to point out, too, that Mata has actually, in that flash death sentence, he actually compensated.
Oh, they catch point. Is that going to be enough? Box is not up yet, and I don't know, man. I think this is going to be pretty good for Blast. Dada in trouble. Dandy coming in the back lines to go after Many Reason, but a double kill already for Bang. He finally goes down to Imp. Look at Imp, single-handedly nearly turning this fight around.
It's
the double kill.
Double Imp right here.
Wow, triple kill. Insane. He's going for the quadra. Can he get it?
Yeah, he'll be able to get it.
And oh, denied by Home. But man, I feel like Imp nearly single-handedly turned that fight around because Mata going in without the box, not the best engage, but it worked out.
I mean, but again, it was one of those things. MVP Ozone, whenever they get that death sentence engaged, they're going to have a huge advantage right there. Yeah. And they've got really good choices for Yorick to ult with this composition because the Rise coming back up, doing quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
So right here, Imp, his positioning in that team fight was stellar. He didn't get hit by Glacial Prism for the 2nd time in a row, and he identified that the biggest threat, of course, was this Draven. Because after Malzahar's ult goes down, there's not a lot of damage on the team except for Bang. Now, I want everyone to watch how he deals with Bang here from the side. First off, you have this fantastic initiation where he comes in right afterwards. You'll see the Glacial Prison. Imp is actually hanging back at the rear. Glacial Prison misses. And here he goes. Look at this. Tumbling around the side onto Bang and then kiting everybody else out. There's no more damage on this team right now.
You know, the thing is Imp has been really waiting for Dade to get that Rune Prison as well. That's the 2nd team fight in a row, and they're going for a they're going for Baron anyway. There's the box right as quality comes in. Great timing for Mata. Easy Baron, easy kill on the jungler on Xenics Blast. Wow.
MVP Ozone has played this game so well, though.
Oh, yeah.
They're really showing that they are a world-class team. A lot of people,
undisputedly,
a lot of people, including myself, we didn't know what kind of form they'd be in given their previous weak group stages, but this is a fantastic composition. They've got so many choices to Yorick ult so that they continue having these like double hyper carries. And now, at the 24-minute mark, this is where they really start to take off.
Yep.
As if they weren't already, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ozone just, again, looking unstoppable. I mean, they're looking like the same Ozone that won last year. I mean, they haven't missed a beat in these few weeks off that they've had.
I want to point out, too, that we do have the Spirit Visage coming down onto Dade, which will help him survive the burst from many reason because he has a high likelihood of getting hit with the Nether Grasp since he's right in the front line. But most importantly is that he's not really as needed for damage when you have the Vayne on the team. And in fact, that healing boost, while he has Spell Dam in his ultimate, going to give him a lot better tankiness and survivability as well.
That's a great point.
So that's a really, really cool addition. We have the same Spirit Visage on Yorick as well, which is going to help with his healing with his ghouls also. So you have this really, really tanky, magic-resistant front line that is synergizing very nicely with their abilities to kind of stay up and stay relevant.
I mean, his tier is still stacking too, so I mean, it doesn't really slow down his Seraphs really much at all.
And I love the early Alacrity enchantment on Imp's boots as well. It's giving him that positional edge with just that hair of extra movement speed where he can pull off these absolutely amazing mechanics. I mean, Imp is having a hell of a game.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he's 6-0-4. He just doesn't die anymore.
I mean, to come out and get that double kill, too, against Draven Fiddle, that is not easy. That is a brutal early game lane bully duo right there.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's all just a bunch of dodging. You don't really have a lot of, any really CC yourself other than maybe Condemn you could kind of count there. But
yeah, I mean, you got some with Thresh, but it was not that much. And when you're dealing with a 3-second fear.
Yeah, not a lot in that particular fight anyway.
Right. He does have the cleanse for that, of course, but it's still really tough to deal with that. And Imp is doing a great job, and now he's just going to itemize straight into that QSS so he can never get hit by the Nether Grasp.
Yeah. Well, Dade taking a few hits from Bank, but they're going to put a little bit of pressure on that top lane 2-2 turret. Everybody coming up. They may want to dive this. It's looking more and more like it. Box is up for Thresh. He's got potentially a good target, but that turret still has a little bit too much health. Oh, we'll see. Start getting death sentence. They don't engage.
Well, yeah, you don't want to engage on the Shen under turret. The problem here with Sieges is that the counter initiate with Glacial Prison and Taunt is so huge that MVP Ozone doesn't have the best Siege team, but they're enough ahead right now that they should be okay to group.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. And that turret's getting lower and lower. It doesn't seem like Blast can really stop him. Stark in the backline, Siegel coming in. A pretty big Glacial Prison there. Imp manages to cleanse out of it. There's a Crow Storm. Imp on the outside of the fight yet again. Many reasons slows, flashes ahead to try to get something done, but just not enough yet. Actually, a double kill for many reasons, and it looks like Blast is starting to turn this one around. Mata coming in from behind. Never mind. Oh man, Imp still staying on the back of the fight. A triple kill though for many reasons. He had a good fight. That one comes out to be about even.
And that's the difference in terms of the engage as well. That was the first time that Imp got caught in Glacial Prison, and since he doesn't have that QSS yet, he had to blow his cleanse early, which puts him in a very vulnerable situation to get follow-up from Taunt and Fiddlefear. But look at Imp's positioning again. You saw that Taunt coming out of Stark, like missed by a couple pixels right there. That's how knowledgeable this guy is about ranges of abilities. So look at this, fantastic Glacial Prison, and again, it's all about the engage with these compositions. Gets focused down immediately, and then take a look at Imp again in this fight. He really saves it, but the Malefic Vision's just kind of bouncing from person to person, giving Malzahar some really good kills. You see that miss on the taunt right there, just barely out of range.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually the second taunt that Imp dodged in that fight. In the very beginning, he after he cleansed, he immediately tumbled out of the way, too, because he knew Shen was coming in. Really, really good stuff. And, I mean, Ozone 10K ahead right now. They've got 6-2 in terms of turrets.
Well, here's the thing is that, it's a 10K difference, but we saw, again, the counter engage so strong from Xenics Blast. And even with this deficit, they were able to pull out a pretty solid pushback in that team fight and stack up a bunch of kills.
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to bring up, Monte Cristo, is that it's one of those indications that in Korea, a big gold lead doesn't always mean a real game lead.
No, and it depends entirely on composition.
Yeah.
And this is, I really, everybody who watches OGN knows how much I get excited about different kinds of compositions going at each other. And this is one of those times where it's just the engage. That is what will decide these team fights effectively, and it's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, QSS is complete for Imp right now, so he'll probably be feeling a lot better. They'll need to wait to team fight until he gets his cleanse as well, though.
They're going to go after this blue buff. They're going to get it no problem. Taking that one. A lot of good warding coming out from Mata right now. Oh, he's got to be a little bit careful. Many Reason coming in on them. There's the box, the Draven ultimate. Many Reason has to Zonia's. He's so low, though. Can he get away? No way. Dade takes the hope right out of Many Reason.
Yeah, Many Reason out of position right there. Not much to be said about that. He should have been. They should just let the blue buff go.
It's a bit dangerous. Now it gives him a very vulnerable spot to fight from at this mid turret.
Fortunately for Xenics, they still have a lot of that counter engage, but
oh, Ozone just bullying their way right in there. They're not afraid of this at all, man. No siege, they're just bull rushing it. Nice, and they're gonna get the inhibitor too. That's it, backing off. And just that tiny little mistake from Many Reason being out of position led to that easy inhibitor for MVP Ozone.
Okay, so MVP Ozone looks like they will finally be able to push through. It's going to be really difficult for Blast to come back now from an inhib deficit, just because there's a real split pushing threat from MVP Ozone as well. So they've got a lot of options in terms of how they want to approach the end of this game and actually finishing it out. Imp just going to go ahead and solo Red Dragon.
Yep. Not going to be losing any health from that. And it looks like Ozone, they want to engage. Will they be able to? There's Dandy coming down with their Pell on the Stark rather. Quality coming in, doesn't get to ultimate. Mata misses the death sentence. Where's Imp? He's on the outside, a little bit trapped against wall, but look at the damage coming out from Ozone. And this is what you're talking about, man. Bang has to make a run for it. Point goes down, a double kill already for Imp. Can he make a triple? Double kill though for Bang as well. It just looks like MVP Ozone will not stop. And that's going to be the ace, and that's very well going to be the game for MVP Ozone. Imp does go down at the very end.
This Yorick pick was absolutely ridiculous on this team, really showing the power of a pick that we haven't seen here in Korea in quite some time.
Wow.
And this is a classic comp too, Yorick Rise Vayne is not something new. This is like a mid-season 2 composition that's making a return now, and that's going to be it. Ozone will take the first game of Champions Summer.
Yeah, that's right. Quality going to come in. They do have Poink as well. He's going to try to do what he can, but I don't think he's going to save that Nexus. There it is. There it goes, GG. And our champions from the spring season win the first game of the summer season.
And they look really good while they're doing it too.
They do indeed.
They knew exactly what they had to do to engage that team. They didn't want to get caught out, so they had to use that death sentence to create a pick on their own.
Yeah.
A couple really good death sentences from Mata later, and they find themselves with a huge lead.